Okay, so Monarch Legacy of Monsters, the first 2 episodes came out. So do you want to talk about, did they came out at the same time, right? Or did they not?
Yeah, they released the first 2.
Yeah.
Yep, at the same time. Yep.
Do you want to talk about them together or do them separately?
We could do them separately because I have different opinions on both.
Okay. All right, so episode 1. Do you want to go or do you want me to?
I'll go first on this one, I guess.
Okay.
I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. It was definitely like a slow burn setup episode. Like you could tell it was definitely a setup episode.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing crazy happening. Like overall, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10, like above average. Like I liked it. I didn't necessarily love it, but I liked it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts before spoilers. Like I have on this episode.
Yeah, I think I like this even more than you did. Like I'm giving it an 8.
Ooh, okay.
What I guess we'll get more into exactly why, but I thought it was basically my thoughts were I didn't know I wanted this, but now that like a Godzilla show but focused on the human characters in the Godzilla world, like I didn't know how much I wanted that until I saw this episode, and then I was like, yes, I definitely want this kind of show. So
true.
So I liked it a lot.
That's true. That's true. If you want, like, in a sense of like we're focusing mostly on the human characters.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I mean, for the movies, you care less about them, but this show is making them interesting. There's a sense of mystery. It's almost like it almost feels like a freaking Uncharted game mixed with monsters. Like I don't know, the treasure hunting kind of feel to it.
Yeah, and like in the movies, there's just not enough time. Like you have to focus on Godzilla for a majority of the movie. Like there's not a whole lot of time to establish the characters and really get to know them. But like in a TV show, that's different. You have plenty of time to get to know the characters and see them like grow or learn about their stories. So I think.
So how do you feel about the main characters in the first episode? So the main girl, don't remember her name.
Kate, I think. But let's. So you want to get into spoilers? Let's talk spoilers.
Yeah, we can get into spoilers.
So if you haven't seen it, go watch it and then come back. And
or should we see our thoughts for episode 2 first, and then do spoilers for both?
Yeah, I guess we could give our score for episode 2.
Just so people don't have to pause, go back.
Yeah. So I'll go first on 2.
Okay.
I thought it was... I liked it a lot. I think I'll give it a 7. But we'll talk about exactly why. I don't know if I have that good of a reason why, but I do have a reason, so we'll talk about that. But yeah, I thought it was solid. But I liked the first episode a little bit more.
Okay, interesting. See, I'm actually the opposite.
Okay.
I would give episode 2 an 8.
Okay.
Out of 10. I liked this one more. I thought it was more of it found its footing. It was a little more fun in the sense of I feel like things were starting to progress. And I liked the past, where how they flash back to the past. I like that more in this episode personally than the first episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, besides getting spoilers, I enjoyed the second one more.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
But yeah, let's go into spoilers.
Spoiler alert. Leave now if you haven't seen it, or I guess if you don't care, you can stay. Okay.
So episode 1.
Yep.
So what we're talking about the main characters, right? So how do you feel about Kate? Or if that's her name?
I'm kind of split on Kate. Like, I like what they're doing with her PTSD stuff, and I think they portray that really well, like coming into contact basically with Godzilla and seeing the destruction. I think that's really well, but she just like gets annoyed and walks away a lot. which I guess could be kind of PTSD like, but I'm hoping she warms up a little bit in future episodes.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Well, at the same time, her dad just died or went missing or whatever.
Yeah,
and then she just found out, like, he had a whole nother life.
There are definitely reasons she's upset, and that's understandable.
On top of the PTSD.
Yeah, true.
But I get what you're saying. As a character, it is a little annoying because it's like, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then what's the half brother's name?
I remembered it, and then I can't.
It's his name is Kentaro, I think.
Kentaro, yeah.
What'd you think of him, in a sense? I know there wasn't a lot for him in the first episode.
I didn't have an issue with him. I'm interested to see. Like, I don't have as strong of feelings about him as I do about Kate.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see their dynamic for sure, because like both of them have kind of been wronged by their father. So
I know, which is interesting because it's like, they're half siblings, but like I think he had a line where like he was mad, right? Because he's like, oh, I just found out my dad cheated, and then he said, well, on our end, we just found out that he cheated like with your mom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's definitely an awkward situation.
Yeah. So I found it interesting. Like, so like the way these episodes are split is, half of it is like the now,
in the past,
after the movies, and then half of it is in the past. And for me, it's so weird. So in the first episode, I liked the present day stuff more. And in the second episode, I liked the past stuff more.
Okay.
So it's just kind of interesting. I guess we haven't talked about. So like the present, right? And she goes to where'd she go? To Japan?
Yeah, to Tokyo.
To Tokyo, finds out to get her figure out what these keys were for, to find out what stuff was for her dad, because her dad went missing.
Yep.
Did he die or just go missing? He just went missing, right? We don't know if he's dead.
Yeah, we don't know for sure. They're assuming he's dead, but they're not. His plane just like went missing. So
yeah. So she gets there, finds the half brother, and mom gets mad, plots for a lot of the episode, PTSD.
Yeah.
One scene that was cool was that was like kind of was interesting was when the sirens went off for the Godzilla thing.
I love that.
Underground.
Was that was in the first episode, right?
Yeah, that was the first episode. Yep. They kind of showed like it's really interesting seeing like a post Godzilla world.
Yeah, and even when she was like driving in, you saw the big giant missiles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their city's like building missiles for like realistically, what the heck is that going to do? Let's be real.
True. It's more just
slow Godzilla down for a minute.
Yeah, I think it's more just to make the people feel safer rather than to actually do anything. Yeah.
But it's just what I liked about that scene is like obviously she had her PTSD again.
Yeah.
Just how like when it was done, everyone just like went back to their normal life.
Yeah, she even said that, and they're like, "Yeah, what else are we supposed to do?" But yeah,
I know, it's just so weird when you think about it. You're like, yeah, I guess that makes it does make sense.
Yeah,
it's just weird because it's like you stop everything you're doing and run and panic to the freaking hole in the ground.
Yep, that's one thing I loved about this show is just like seeing the world with like all the signs about Godzilla and then going into the bunker, and it's just such a cool way to show the ramifications of having those monsters in the world.
Yeah, because have we really even we've never fully focused on it, at least not like this, like good.
Right. Yeah.
Because in the movies, they have some human stuff, but it's always like important people in the movies, or people working with, like, you know what I mean? Like it's always not really for the people. Where you go for the monsters. But you're right.
It's pretty quick in the movies. Like they might show a refugee camp or something after a Godzilla attack, but it's definitely different.
And also in the present day, she teams up with the brother. Hey, you want to get rid of me? Then just help me do this, and they go to his their father's office, and then they
Yep.
find
That's
that
safe.
all the tapes, the
Yep.
safes, and the combination was like their birthdays all combined or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting.
And then they take it to his ex's house, his ex-girlfriend's house, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who's just like
To her
generic
name was
hacker.
May, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, just some. Oh yeah, generic hacker.
Yeah.
Every time I see a hacking scene, I laugh.
Although she's just supposed to be like someone who likes audio stuff or something, but then she's like their hacker. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she was bashing on vinyl. Screw her. I don't like her. I collect
That's
vinyl,
funny.
and it does sound better.
Yeah, I thought of you during that scene.
Well, whatever. Hey, I can't stand you.
That's funny.
But yeah, the scene she was in, it was nice having like another character, like,
Yeah.
you know, and then like in episode 2, I liked her even more because she had a little bit of jokes,
Yep.
uh, but yeah, that was what else am I missing? Am I missing anything else from the present day? I'm trying to think.
In the first episode,
In the first episode, and is the first episode where the Monarch people find her?
I think that's the second episode.
Okay, yeah, that's the second episode. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, so I think
okay.
we didn't talk about, honestly, I have a favorite character so far, and it's really like not a main character, but I really like Kentaro's mom. I thought she is like such a good character. She's like, she has every right to be pissed off and like hate this girl, but she's just like super nice, helps her calm down after her panic attack. And even in the second episode, she's like comforting Kentaro by like ripping up the papers. And I just thought she was a very sympathetic character.
Yeah, but like at the same time, it's like she well, that was the second episode, but when the people came for second episode, she
and she like
told
helps
them to
him
get out of
escape.
here.
Yeah. Yep.
She's not trying to be like some helpless. Just listen to them. She's like, no, screw them.
Yep.
But no, even in the first episode, you're right. She offered to go get tea and talk and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Kate or
yeah, I think
whatever
that's
her
her
name was is mean.
Yep. But she was the
Well,
mom
not
was
mean,
understanding. So
yeah.
Yep.
So that was the present stuff. Some past stuff. What happened in the past stuff again?
So that one they were in. So Kazakhstan was the second episode. I forget where they were in the first.
Was it Skull Island or no? That was the flashback.
Yeah, that was the flashback. It was some. I forget exactly what, but they were. Was it Kazakhstan? I don't know, but they went into that like. They found the eggs wherever they found the eggs, right? That was the first episode. The like dormant eggs, yeah. And so that was one thing in the first episode is like we saw, I guess, Kate's grandmother die, which I thought was an interesting choice, because you would almost seem like you would want to get to know the character first before that. But other than that, like that was my main issue with the flashback in season 1 or episode 1. I mean,
yeah. At first, that's why I was a little confused. Not confused, but because I knew, she was the grandmother, or at least I knew in the next episode. But and then in the second episode, they flash back even farther to before that.
Yeah.
To when they all met.
Yeah.
It's weird structure. For me, like I get what you're saying. Like it was kind of odd. Like you would think the flashbacks in the first episode
would show the meeting, and then yeah,
it would be the flashbacks from the second episode would be the flashbacks in the first episode.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. Yeah. So my thing with the flashbacks in the first episode, like they were interesting. Well, first of all, the flashback from the very beginning was really cool with those two monsters fighting, the rock monster and
that was cool.
Thing.
Yep.
Yeah, and him running in the forest and all that, and then throwing the bag out.
Yep.
That was really cool. But the stuff with the three main characters from those past, it's Lee Shaw, which is played by Wyatt Russell, which I think it's awesome. Kurt Russell plays him like in the future.
That I like that.
What? So it's Shaw, and then it's Bill, I think is his name,
Yeah.
and Doctor Kiko.
Yeah. I think they call
Is
her
that right?
K or something. Keiko.
Doctor K. Yeah. So those three. So how do you feel about those three from, or at least the first episode perspective?
I thought they had pretty good chemistry actually for like just meeting
Mm-hmm.
them. I thought it was, I guess because it's supposed to be, not when they first met, obviously, even though we see that later.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I like those characters. It's interesting seeing them like I assume that's the founders of Monarch and like trying to find the monsters, and so I thought that was cool seeing that. I definitely like the flashbacks. I love the nonlinear storytelling going back and forth between the past and the present.
Yeah, I do too. Like it's so weird because I knew, so I had heard Kurt Russell and his son were going to be in the show,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought they were actually like, before I knew anything about the show, I
Father and
thought they were
son.
actually going to be playing like father and son.
Yeah, that's kind of what I assumed too.
But it's kind of interesting that like they're playing the same character.
Yeah, I mean it makes
But I
sense.
agree,
He definitely looks like
it
him.
does make, yeah, it's kind of cool how they did that. But um, yeah, I thought they had good chemistry too. I think, I guess not my problem, but my thing with the first episode, I was all, I'm not gonna lie, I was also really tired when I watched this first episode, so I don't know if that played a factor into it.
Gotcha.
Um, but it just wasn't as interesting for me,
Now,
and the ending threw me off a little bit too.
yeah, that because the ending is where she dies, right? Or supposedly like
Yeah,
that's
yeah, where they're escaping the egg hatch area, and then she
yeah,
falls. Like,
yeah,
unless they somehow make her survive.
yeah. Maybe she's a monster now. um, yeah, that was a little weird, but so I'm trying to remember, was the Godzilla scene with the bus that was in the first episode, right?
Yeah, all of her like PTS, most of her PTS with Godzilla flashbacks were in the
Yeah,
first episode, I think.
that's what I liked the most. That's what put episode 1 above episode 2 for me. Was I thought seeing those Godzilla moments from her point of view and like seeing the aftermath of it, and like the bus scene was where the bus fell, that
Yeah,
was brutal.
yeah, that was a brutal one.
So my reason for putting 1 above 2, like I said, it might not be a good reason, is because Godzilla was in 1 and I love that part. So
I mean, I don't blame you, because when I was seeing those parts too, I'm like, oh god, this is awesome.
yeah,
Like, and you're right, it just shows how terrifying it is for just some like a normal person that's not a part of anything,
yep,
just in the middle of like a Godzilla attack.
yeah,
Like, it makes you're right. It makes the Godzilla, it makes Godzilla and like the attacks more scary, not just
hmm,
like a cool action scene.
yeah, like seeing the repercussions of it.
Hmm. So but yeah, that was mostly episode 1. So like I said,
Yeah,
I gave it a 6, you gave it an 8. Like, I still really liked it. I thought it was still above average. I mean, it looked good,
yeah,
the acting was good, the sound was good, the
yeah.
music was good,
Sound was.
the monsters looked good. Like, it was good.
Yeah, and those monsters, like you said in the flashback, the Skull Island flashback, those were really
Hmm.
cool looking monsters. Were those in Kong
They
Skull
were.
Island, or was that just for the?
No, I don't recognize this. I don't recognize them in Skull Island.
Okay,
At least
so
in
yeah, it was made for the
the
show.
newer
That
one.
was good CG and stuff. So
But okay, so episode 2. So what? So your biggest reason was, those flashbacks, why you didn't rate it as high.
yeah, I loved those Godzilla scenes.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, with episode 2, like, I thought the flashbacks are so much more interesting. I like seeing how all of them met.
Yeah, that
I
was
kind of I
cool for
like.
sure.
I thought like you said, the chemistry was really good, and then the scene with that where they. I love the whole treasure map feel to it, where like, the doctor and
Oh yeah,
the guy who she eventually obviously marries
yep,
go into that big boat, or the big boat where he
yeah, the
said he was on
battleship.
it.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know how it got there, and then that monster was attacking him.
Yeah, that was a cool
and how
part.
like the Wyatt Russell guy, Shaw, how he left. He's like, fine, screw you, I'm leaving. And then he sees like that weird stuff in the sky,
Yeah, and then comes back. And
and
the
then comes
ship's
back.
like all slimy from something and they don't know what. That was a pretty
Mhm.
tense scene for sure.
Yeah, like the flashback. Me personally, I like the flashback scenes a lot more in this episode.
I do think the flashback scenes are better in the second episode. Yeah, I would agree with you there. Especially because like you don't know who they are in the first episode, you don't know how they met, you don't even really know exactly what they're doing. And in the second one you definitely get some answers to that.
Yeah. Now maybe if I rewatched the first episode after watching the second episode, I would enjoy the flashback scenes a little more. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That could be the case.
Um, so that was most of the flashbacks. Now the present day. I thought the present day was interesting too in this one. Actually, now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, with the Monarch guy and the other girl.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
the other girl, and then they brought back the girlfriend or the ex girlfriend. What's her name?
May. Yeah,
May, and then they're kind of more on the run. Like, so that's what I liked about this episode. I feel like it progressed. So the flashbacks I thought were better, fleshed out the characters more highly met, and then in the present day, I felt like uh like the story just progressed. It was like, okay, like we know you guys are sad and pitying each other, like being
yeah,
pitied on each other, but like now, like, all right, the Monarch people are coming. You got to get this crap, get May. You got to, and then you got to go find this guy. Like I felt like it was going somewhere finally.
yeah. Okay, I could see that. It definitely was like the runaway from the Monarch gave it a real like sense of urgency. Um. So yeah,
And then I liked, like I said, Kurt Russell. I could already tell he's going to be fun in the series because we've hardly
yeah,
seen him these first two episodes.
yeah. It's true. We meet him kind of near the end of the second one.
Yeah, so I like him as an actor, and I just know he has that charisma. So I know he'll be fun in it.
Yeah,
Be fun in it. And I like how like when they're all talking, they met him, and they're like, "Oh, you are this person," and May is like, "Oh, I'm not related to anybody."
yeah. That was funny. So I have a
So he was,
question about
mhm,
Kurt Russell's character. I think
mhm.
it shows his date of birth on one of the files, and I saw online that he's supposed to be 91 at that point. So is that just like
Okay.
I wonder if they're gonna like have a
Like
reason
they
for
just
that or just
missing
totally
this stuff.
brush it off? You know, like maybe he's been around radiation so he doesn't age as fast, or are they just not even gonna address it?
I don't know. I feel like that's a good catch. Actually, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
They could definitely do some mystical stuff. I mean,
Yeah, they
they have
could.
fairies.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he knows Mothra, so she just like gives him a few more years on his life. uh,
See, like, I guess that's actually a good point because there's no way that dude's 91.
yeah, right.
Like, obviously we know Kurt Russell's not 91, but like the
Yeah,
character is not 91.
yeah,
Like, there's no freaking way. So I think that's interesting. Well, maybe some weird thing is, so is Monarch? Are they really bad guys though? They're not really bad guys,
yeah. I
are
don't
they?
know. I'm interested to see where because they definitely feel like the antagonists so far, right? Like
Oh, are you there?
for our characters at
What's that?
least.
Sorry, you broke up. What'd you say?
I said they definitely feel like the antagonists for our characters at
They
least
do.
so far.
They feel like
But
the antagonists in the show, but like in the movies, they weren't necessarily bad guys.
right, yeah, I don't
Like,
know. I wonder if
but for
it's
the
the
show,
kind of thing where like it started off good and now they're kind of like turning
yeah, like
bad
after the
or like
attacks happened, now they're like, okay, screw this. We're shutting this shit down, kind of thing.
yeah,
Like
that
this ain't
could
gonna
be.
happen again, not under our watch, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Because they definitely feel like the bad guys in the show.
yeah, for sure.
And so then they were holding Shaw like at some Monarch facility, like with a
Yeah,
brace on.
yeah, they
Like,
have him
what's that
trapped there
about?
like a prisoner. Yeah.
I mean, no, well, I'm assuming we'll find out what that's about because
Yeah,
that's a big thing.
we better.
I know. Like he just at first, I'm like, what, oh, Monarch? Like because I was thinking about it. I'm like, so Monarch has him like in prison, but I don't remember
Yeah,
Monarch
and
being evil.
even like Kate and her flashbacks, seeing them walking around just taking pictures, made it kind of feel like, well,
Mhm.
they don't care about the human life that's lost during these
Maybe
attacks.
maybe it's one of those things where like, because in the movies, Monarchs like aren't they like helping fight and all that stuff? So it's like
Yeah,
maybe it's more like we just see the war aspect of it, and this is from like the human side of it. Like you're
yeah,
right, maybe they just care about humans. So of course they're the bad guys.
yeah, that could be.
I don't know. It is interesting though. Like now, the more I'm talking about it, the more I realize, like, man, you're right. Like the fact that they're making characters interesting like this in a
Hmm.
Godzilla show that doesn't have a lot of monsters, like
Yep,
that's saying something.
yep, definitely.
And
I
it
love
feels
that.
high quality,
Yeah, it
doesn't it?
definitely
Like it
does. It
feels
feels
like
very high quality.
and I'm wait. I mean, I doubt Godzilla shows up until the very end. To be honest,
Yeah, besides in that flashback.
Godzilla will show up.
Yeah, I hope
I'm
so.
telling you that. But this is the kind of show where I don't expect him to show up a lot. Like maybe the
Yeah.
finale. You know what I mean?
Hmm. How
Now
many
the question is, will
episodes?
Kong show up?
Say that again?
My question is too. Like, is it just going to be like a Godzilla that shows up, or does Kong show up, or
Yeah.
I wonder
How many other
because all these
monsters?
monsters are still out there.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of them, I should say.
Yep. At least that's our
And to answer
assumption.
your question, there's going to be 10 episodes.
Okay, cool. I like that. Better
So
than
it's 10
6.
episodes. Yeah, no, I feel like 10's like a perfect amount.
Yeah. I
Like
like
not
that a
too
lot.
much, not too little.
Yeah, I like 10 episodes for sure.
Now you're so, with freaking Loki. I had to bring up Loki. 6 episodes.
Every episode from now from now on.
Loki. Great finale of a crappy show. I think I'm in a minority with that one though. Oh, but no, yeah, I loved it, man. I agree.
I thought the
I,
monster
I'm
at
I'm
the end of
excited.
episode 2 looked really good too. Like, and just like being in that cramped in that ship and having
Oh
it
yeah, with
like
the
crash
claw
in.
and
Yeah, the claws. I thought that
yeah, like
was
it's
cool.
I don't know. I guess like I said, it kind of just it reminds me of like honestly, I'm telling you now, it reminds me of Uncharted mixed with like Godzilla, like it, especially the flashback
Yeah, the
scenes, being in the
flashbacks.
jungle and kind of
Hmm.
yeah, it just has like that cool adventure feel. Like, and it
Yeah,
has the
for
best of
sure.
both worlds. You have like the mystery in the present day and the evilness and the post-apocalyptic feel kind of
Hmm.
world, and then you have the cool like jungle treasure hunt feel, the past. Oh, I think it's like perfect balance.
Yeah, definitely.
So sweet. Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm glad you
Um,
mentioned this one.
yeah, no, I saw a trailer for it. I'm like, oh, we got to watch this, man. We got to.
Yeah,
And I
and
knew
this
you
was
would want to watch it.
yeah.